Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we're back for module number 11. We have one more to go, and it's over. I just want to take a couple seconds to point out that this was very informative, and I think in order to get the best advantage from the course, you have to do every video and all the writing of the posts. I know the teachers put 4 as being the minimum, but you have to because each week has new material. With that said, though, we talk about unions this week. I want to start off by saying that unions can be good and they can't be. The Florida Benevolent Association, the PBA, in the last 3 years, they've done a lot of good things for the state's law enforcement. They've gone ahead and they've been able to not only secure raises for the different classes, but they've also improved the percentages, and they're working on getting the COLA back that was lost back in 2011. They're also working on improving the salary incentive and making sure that the pay is comparable with other city and county agencies, which is very good. It's not the best. I mean, I know we want the whole thing in the world, but it doesn't always work that way. On the negative end, a union can be problematic because what ends up happening is for those employees that mess up on the job, they got to be represented. The problem that you have is when you have an individual, and I'm going to name it because it's public record, former City of Miami police officer Fausto Lopez. He was the one that was caught driving over 120 miles an hour on the Florida Turnpike. The FOP, which is a union that represented him, went on the air, and the first thing they said was that the trooper that pulled him over was reckless. Well, if you watched the video, you knew that wasn't true. Far from it. She was doing her job. In fact, she was having a hard time catching up to that vehicle, which she had gotten numerous complaints on over the years. The only thing that I can tell you about that is that at the end of the day, people, when they look at this, they when you talk about government, you could talk about trust. They look at this thing and they say, well, how come he can get away with it? How come the union is so quick to defend him without even looking at the video? It doesn't really bring good public relations when it comes to government and the citizenry. The other thing is, unions, for example, in one of the discussions I had with a student, I wrote down that unfortunately in the agency I work for, the union sold itself out. It sold itself out to administration, and they were caught having a luncheon, and basically the chief deputy tells them, I'm recommending 20 days, and the union rep comes back and says, no, you ought to fire him. He should have a job. Well, wait a minute, we're paying monthly dues and you're supposed to, represent us, and you're telling the guy that he should be fired. That's not right. That's no good. So when you have the union selling himself out to management, then the low people, the ones that are covered, they're left out to dry. So it can go both ways. Unfortunately, and we all know this, in the state of Florida, we're not a very strong union state. It's a right-to-work state. And unfortunately, some of the better benefits that you'll see up in places like New York and New Jersey, you're not going to see here. In New York, the union is very strong, and it's not here. So the question is it good to unionize or not good to unionize? Unfortunately, where I'm at, it wasn't really good. We didn't get anything out of the union. If you look at the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, their union, which is the same PBA, the way they set up their contract is pretty good. They've got everything stipulated. They've got benefits. They've got raises every 6 months, cost of living. With us, it was just a policy. They just took the policy and made it the contract. That was it. And we had that incident of selling out. Nobody really believes in it. And if you call for the PBA and you call for representation for anything, you're already looked at with a sour eye over at the sheriff's office. So you put a target on your back. So you're better off just throwing yourself to the wolves and hoping for mercy. You'll probably get a lot more leniency there than if you try to go all legalistic with the union. That's what, in my experience, how it's been. But once again, I went a little bit over the mark, but we're almost close to the end. Ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful night, and that's the end of this presentation.